Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Kenna and I'm a Cameroonian YouTuber based in Douala, Cameroon. Today we're doing a story time. I'm sharing with you my birth and delivery story. So for those of you who do not know, I have two children, Monique and Caden. And since if I put both stories together, this will be like a very long video and I don't want to keep you guys here for too long. I'm going to do the video into part 1 and part 2. Part 1, I'll talk about my son's delivery story, and part 2, I'll talk about Monique's delivery story. Let me go straight into it. How did I find out I was pregnant? So it was in 2014 and I was preparing for my wedding, guys, and my husband and myself, we had a pregnancy scare because we took 1 year to plan for our wedding. We had a serious pregnancy scare sometime in the middle of the year, and it was showing I had to get married in December, which if I got pregnant at that time, it was going to mean that by December I'll be 6 months pregnant and the wedding would not hold. So after that scare, we're just like, you know what, this thing that we're doing, we'll do it for the rest of our lives, so let's just stop it right now and we'll do it enough when we get married. So that was our decision. At that time when we were preparing for the wedding, I was in Boya and my husband was here in Douala, so I used to go and come for a couple of weekends. And guys, we broke our promise to each other like just 2 times, or is it 1 time? So in my head I was like, I cannot even be pregnant, you know, that kind of thing now. So I was so carried away with all the wedding preparations and everything that I didn't even notice that 2 months had passed and I didn't see my period. So it was when I sat somewhere and we're discussing and the discussion of period came up, and I was like, hey, it's like I'm not seeing my period for almost 2 months. Seriously, that's when I was like, I might have to take a test. I went and got the test and I did it and I was pregnant, guys. I don't know what it's because in my head I was still single up. In fact, I got scared. That's my first reaction. Let me just tell you, that was my first reaction. I was like, Jesus, I'm pregnant. Oh, I'm dead. Oh, I'm finished. I'm pregnant. I forgot that I was getting married. I forgot that I was pregnant for my husband to be. So I was just like, I am dead. How will I tell my parents I'm pregnant? How does this happen? How can I be pregnant? Hey, I went now and I sat down. I was like, I'm about to tell you something. What's up? I'm pregnant, guys. Honestly, I saw joy in my mom's face, like she was happy, but you know, she has to be a mom, so she wasn't just like, hallelujah, oh, you're pregnant. No, she wasn't all that, but my mom was like, okay, you're pregnant. I said, yes, I'm pregnant. She was like, have you told your husband? I'm like, no, I'm not yet told him. She was like, you need to tell him, because for how long have you missed your period? I told her, and she's like, you need to tell him because you need to go for checkup so that you should ensure that the baby is fine, especially as you're preparing for your wedding. So you have to tell him, so you guys should go for checkup. But hey, I told my husband, but I don't know why I told my mom that I'm not told. So yeah, we went to the hospital and they did the checkup. The symptoms for my son, I was basically fine. That's probably why I didn't even think I was sick. I was just sleeping, but I thought I was sleeping a lot because I was working hard, like always busy preparing things for the wedding. So I thought that I was getting too tired, that's why I was sleeping. But I used to sleep, I could sleep for like 14 hours straight. I was sleeping, then I had slight nausea, not that bad, like slight nausea. I think that was basically it for my son, for the signs. During the pregnancy, guys, what else happened? My legs grew bigger. I wasn't taking pictures. I'll try to insert a picture in this video. Like, my face was black, my nose was ear to ear. I was looking scary. Oh my god. And then I can remember I used to look at my face in the mirror and I'm like, what is happening to me? And I'll ask my husband, like, dear, how do I look? And he's like, no, okay, you're okay. I'm not even seeing anything wrong with you. You are okay. So I thought that I was okay till I gave birth, and then I compared my pictures and I was like, oh my god, this is not happening. Like, I could not recognize myself. So generally with Caden, the pregnancy, I was basically okay. I didn't have any complications. I didn't have anything. I was just good and fine. They never found any reason to be concerned or anything. When I was pregnant, first of all, I was surrounded by my cousin's friends and my cousin. If she tells you her labor story here, you start crying. I was traumatized because they were always telling me, you think that you have felt pain. When you will be having a baby, you will know then that this life no be biscuit. You will understand what life means when you're having a child, guys. I was so scared, and I'm like, oh my God, will I be able to go through all this pregnancy, delivery thing? Will I be able? Because the pain. So since they said that, I started building my mind, like the pain that I'm going to feel is going to be unimaginable. So I started building my mind, like I have to be ready to take this pain, because if a 16-year-old girl, a 13-year-old girl is giving birth to a baby, it means that they are strong. It means that even though the pain is there, they are strong enough to handle this pain. So what about me? I'm a 27-year-old woman. So what would be too difficult for me to handle that pain? I started building my mind. So how did it happen? The weekend before I gave birth, I went for my last checkup, and the doctor checked me, and I was asking him, like, will I give birth probably on the exact date that he had given, on my exact due date, or will I give birth after? So he said he should check me. When he checked me, he was like, okay, I'll probably give birth on that day. And I was kind of worried because my husband was writing exams on that day and he was not going to be around. He was going to be in Boya. So I was like, I hope I can give birth after. So the doctor checked me, and when he finished checking me, he said he has touched whatever membrane, those biological things, I really don't know. So he said I should not get bothered if I go home and I see a little blood discharge or anything. It's just normal. So I now left and I went home, guys. And I went, and I can remember when I was pregnant, underwear were not my friend. So my husband was studying for his exams in front of the house, and in front of my house we have these white plastic chairs. He was sitting on one, so I went and I sat on the other one. I was just wearing a t-shirt, nothing down. When I sat on that chair, on getting up, I saw a little blood. So I'm like, blood, let me go and bring something to clean. My husband was like, what? And I started feeling a little uneasy, but it's normal. It was the last day. My husband was like, what? Blood? You might be in labor. And guys, my parents were not yet. My mom was not yet there. My mom had to come on Saturday. That was the next day. So my husband panicked and he was like, what? You might be, are you feeling pain? I said, I'm feeling a little pain. And he was like, you might be in labor. Call your mother, call this person. And then my husband, he was nervous because most of the people that were hoping to be there with me in case my mom wasn't around, none of them were in town. So my husband was so terrified. He was just probably like, what? So he's going to face this whole thing on his own. So he was scared, and then he was like, call your mom. I'm like, I don't want to call. I was laughing, guys, and he shouted at me. He was like, Kenna, you like to joke about everything. You keep laughing. There's nothing funny here. You're in labor. And I'm like, I'm not in labor. It's just the doctor told me this. I was explaining, guys. He did not want to hear. He was just like, call your parents now. I called my mom, and guys, I did not want to call my mom because I know my mother. She will panic more than my husband. So I called my mom and I explained. She was with my other aunt that had to come. My aunt is a midwife, so they gave the phone to my aunt and they said she should explain. I explained everything, and my mom just started screaming like, Kenna, you cannot do this to us. You cannot have that baby when we're not there. We're coming now, guys. It was 9 p.m. on a Friday evening, and I'm like, you people should just leave it and come tomorrow. I'm not in labor. I'm not going to give birth this night. My parents refused to listen. My mom took a car and they came to Douala. I can remember very well. They reached here at I think 12 midnight. My husband was there panicking. He went to the bank, withdrew money, came and sat, called for a car. At that time we did not have a car, so he called for a car and was like, just be on standby because if something happens, madam might give birth today. Oh my God, I was at this point just laughing, but I was hiding my laughter because the more I laughed, my husband was getting very angry. So I just sat. We stayed till like 12. I fallen asleep, and then I heard the bell ring. My husband went, called, received my mom and my aunts. They came into the house and they came and they were looking at me, and I just stood there, and they were like, Kenna, what is this? Are you not giving birth? I'm like, Mommy, I told you that you should not come here because I'm not yet in labor. So they came, they were just like, they hung their cabas on the door, and they're like, if you feel pim in the night, just come and call us, we're going to the hospital, guys. I slept all night and got up, nothing. They were like, okay. Saturday passed. Sunday, my husband traveled to Boya to go and write his exam. So my mom and my aunt sat and they were looking at me and they're like, so Kenna, seriously, you don't want to give birth? And I'm like, it's not yet time for me to give birth. They were like, you have not been doing sports, we have to take you to go for a walk. So we went for a walk. We walked for like a 20-minute walk, came back. So we made like almost an hour out, walking around, came back. Still nothing. On Monday, they got up and they were looking at me and they were like, we came to see a baby, we've not come to see you, Kenna. So we need to do something about this. You're sitting there, you're just sitting here. They said we should go to town and buy whatever. So they said they just wanted me to be walking so that I could activate the labor. So we went to town, walked for like 3 hours around supermarkets and shops, got some few things, came back. As we're coming back, I had to go and do my nails because, guys, I wanted to be all glam when I was giving birth. And I can remember they were telling me that when you fall into labor, you will pull out all the artificial nails and everything. But I was like, yes, no problem, let me still look beautiful. Even if I break them, I'll break them. So when we were coming back, I started feeling a little discomfort. I felt like pain, like, but guys, it was not that painful. It was painful like my period. So I thought it was nothing. So I explained to my mom, like, mommy, I'm feeling a little pain. So she was like, okay, will you be able to go and do the nails? I said, yes, I'll go and do the nails. Let me just do the nails. So I came and did my nails. But after that, I kept feeling the pain all night. I felt the pain. And I got up the next morning. That was on the Tuesday morning. I got up, I was still feeling the pain. So my aunt was just looking at me and she was like, Kenna, you might be in labor. So what you have to do right now is to call the doctor, your gynecologist, and tell him that this is how you've been feeling for the past 3 days. So he'll tell you what to do. So I called the doctor and the doctor said I should come in so that they should check me because truly I may be in labor. So I can remember on the Wednesday, early in the morning, it was really raining on that Wednesday morning. My cousin came with her car, carried my mom. We packed everything and we went to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, the doctor wasn't there, but he had left orders that they should check how dilated I am, and then they just put me in preparation in case I'm truly in labor, guys. So I went, and when I sat down, they checked me. I was already 4 centimeters dilated. You have to be 10 centimeters dilated to give birth. So I was almost halfway gone in my labor. And when they told me that, I was like, seriously? And how come I have not really felt that pain that they had been telling me before? So they just took me into the labor room because it's like nobody was giving birth on that day. They took me to the labor room and then they put everything together and said I should just lie down there. They put this thing around my tummy that you hear the baby's heartbeat, and then they gave me they fastened the labor. I don't know, they put one drug like that had to hasten the labor. They put that thing at around 8:30 in the evening. I sat there, guys, no pain. I was not feeling anything. I was just feeling the normal contractions and the little menstrual pain. I stayed there till like 12. Nothing was happening, and that's when the doctor came. When the doctor came, he was like, I'm not yet even gone anywhere. I was still like 6 centimeters dilated. So the doctor came and he was like, okay, I don't know whether they added the dose or he changed the medicine to hasten the thing. I sat there, guys. I was not still getting really that pain that I was expecting. So the doctor waited and waited till like 3 p.m. and he was like, what is happening? It's like this woman, she doesn't want to give her birth now. So he was like, okay, he's going to hurry up and go for lunch, and then he comes back. It's like the labor did not want to kick in when the doctor was there. When that doctor left, like 30 minutes later, guys, the labor started. Oh my God, I understood that pain that people had been telling me that I would feel. It was painful. I can remember very well. I was screaming. It was painful, guys. It was really painful. Anybody that tells you that labor is not painful, that person is not being truthful at all. Since I told my husband, but he wasn't there, he was calling like every single minute. He would call my mom, call my aunt, call my cousin, and he was talking. And I can remember there was this time I was in so much pain, and I had refused to talk to him. I was like, I'm not talking to this man till I have this baby. So I can remember there was this time he was calling and I was in so much pain. I was screaming, and then he heard me shout. So my cousin was like, no, Kenna, it's okay, Kenna is fine. My husband was like, no, how can she say I'm okay? Is he not hearing me screaming like that? Am I not screaming? Is that not me screaming background like that? And I was upset. I was like, shut up, give me that phone. I took the phone and threw it. I was just like, oh my God. It was so much fun. Oh my God, it was painful, guys. I felt that pain like that for 1 hour 30 minutes non-stop, no time to rest. The pain kept coming in, going, coming, go out. And then it got to a point that I was feeling unimaginable pain. I was feeling like, oh my God, this is me dying. Like, how do you get to feel like this? I'm probably dying, right? Like, what is going on? And my aunt was like, okay, you guys should come and check. You should come and check her. Maybe she's almost there. And the nurses were just wasting time to come. When they finally came, that nurse went and then she checked. When she checked me, 10 centimeters dilated. Oh my God, everybody started running left and right, because they were a little slow, because they thought that since I had taken the whole day to dilate, maybe I was going to give birth like the next day in the morning or something. So they just started hearing, they put everything together, they called the doctor was caught up in traffic, so those nurses had to deliver me, guys. And in the delivery room, you're allowed to have one person inside. I was with my aunt. I can remember she was at my right hand. She just stood here while the nurses stood down there. I opened my legs and they said, I'll never forget the first time they said, okay, when you feel a contraction coming, you're going to push. Guys, when it came, they said push, I shouted, Wah! Oh my God. When I shouted, they almost killed me. They were like, shut up. Is that how they push? What are you shouting for? Like, take in, breathe in, close your mouth, and then you push. So I was like, oh my God. Giving birth the first time is hilarious. So they said, okay, just be calm. The second time you have to push like that. So guys, at this point, my aunt now tells me that Kenna, the nurses were there talking in their nurse language, debrief, whatever thing they were saying, I did not understand. So they're talking, and then my aunt now whispers to me, and she's like, my aunt is a midwife. So she was like, Kenna, the baby, those nurses are saying that the baby is dying, the mouth is covered, the nose is covered, the baby is dying. So if you don't push well when this contraction comes, your baby is going to die. Oh my God. I thought about my 9 months. My 9 months. I said 9 months will just come and go like that. The baby will come and die. I got that, all my ancestors' strength, got that strength when they said push, guys. I pushed and the baby popped out, and one nurse just held the baby by the leg like this, took the baby. I was like, oh my God. As they carried him, they put him on my chest, like, you should be the first person to hold your baby. And I was like, oh my God, look at you, a shiny, bulky baby boy. I was so happy. They gave, after that, they cleaned him up, and then they gave him to my aunt. My aunt took him outside, went and gave him to my mother. I stayed there, and then they said, placenta, you have to push again. And in my mind at this time, I was like, oh my God, it was going to be painful, but I just did one push and the thing came out. So I pushed twice and I had my baby. It was so easy. I didn't have any stitches, I didn't have any medical stress or anything like that. After that, I just lay down there. I started feeling cold. They brought the blanket, covered me up, and I just stayed there for like 30 minutes. I regained my strength. After regaining my strength, they cleaned up my room and they took me back to my room, and that is how my baby boy came into this world. Like, it was a beautiful pain. So guys, this is the delivery story for my first fruit, my baby boy Caden, this young guy you guys see. If you want to watch part 2, that is the delivery story of my baby girl, let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Love you. Bye.